And now, thanks for the house.
This is the Kia Center in Orlando, Florida. It's a building where WWE kept having to start over, and one that was heavily leaned on during the COVID era. Hey, I'm Alex, and today I'm counting down my personal top 10 wrestling moments in Kia Center history. Stay tuned. 2 of my top 3 moments represent the beginning of a modern-day superstar's monster run. The building opened in October of 2010 as the Amway Center, giving Orlando a much larger and more modern replacement for the aging Amway Arena across town. The primary tenant was the NBA's Orlando Magic, and it was designed as more than a new home for the Magic. It had expanded concourses, premium seating, improved production space, and enough flexibility to host hockey, arena football, concerts, and major WWE events. Nearly 3 times larger than the old place, the arena immediately became one of the centerpieces of downtown Orlando. Its most recognizable feature is the 180-foot tower facing I-4, which rises above the surrounding district and changes colors depending on the event inside. Kia took over the naming rights in late 2023, but the building's importance to Orlando had already been established during more than a decade under the Amway Center name. I'm going to start the countdown with the Hardy Boys defending the Raw Tag Team Championships against Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson on the Raw the night after WrestleMania 33. One night earlier at Camping World Stadium, Matt and Jeff returned to the WWE as surprise additions to a 4-way tag team ladder match, and they ended up walking out as the new champs. It was one of the loudest WrestleMania returns ever and my personal all-time favorite. The Good Brothers entered that match with the titles, so they immediately used their rematch the following night. There was no surprise entrance this time and no ladders. It was just the Hardys working their first regular WWE match together since 2009. Gallows and Anderson slowed the match down by isolating Matt and keeping Jeff out of the ring. Once Jeff finally got the tag, the pace picked up and the building came alive again. Matt caught Gallows with the twist of fate, Jeff followed with the Swanton Bomb, and Matt made the cover to retain the titles. 9. Dominic Mysterio makes his WWE in-ring debut against Seth Rollins in a street fight at SummerSlam 2020. To set this up, Rollins had injured Rey Mysterio's eye, and Dominic stepped in to defend his dad. Weren't those the good old days? He earned a beatdown in doing so, as Rollins and Murphy responded by attacking him with kendo sticks before the match even happened. Dom didn't have the luxury of an NXT debut before stepping into the spotlight on the main roster. This was baptism by fire. He was working one of WWE's biggest shows against Seth Rollins in a match built around a personal family feud. The street fight stipulation helped cover Dominic's lack of experience without completely hiding it. He took a beating from Seth. He hit a Russian leg sweep through a table off the middle rope, and he put together a late rally that made it feel like he might actually pull off the upset. Murphy eventually handcuffed Rey to the ropes, forcing him to watch as Rollins hit Dominic with the stomp and win the match. 8. Kevin Owens and Dean Ambrose opened the 2016 Royal Rumble in a last man standing match for the Intercontinental Championship. Ambrose had taken the title from KO at TLC, and each rematch became more physical until this stipulation felt like the natural ending to the feud. By the time they reached Orlando, neither man was trying to out-wrestle the other. The only goal was to do enough damage that the other couldn't answer the referee's 10 count. These guys used kendo sticks, chairs, the ring steps, and several tables, but it never felt like they were moving from one weapon spot to the next. Both men kept finding believable ways to get back to their feet. Late in the match, Owens climbed the turnbuckle for a moonsault while Ambrose was laid across a pile of chairs. Ambrose recovered, shoved KO from the top rope, and sent him crashing outside through 2 stacked tables at ringside. Owens couldn't beat the count, and Ambrose retained the gold. 7. Triple H wins the WWE World Heavyweight Championship in the 2016 Royal Rumble match. Roman Reigns had been forced by Mr. McMahon to defend the title from the number 1 entry spot against 29 other competitors, so the entire match was built around the Authority trying to make sure the big dog didn't leave Orlando with the strap. Early in the Rumble, the League of Nations dragged Roman out of the ring and attacked him, but he returned later in the match and still made it close to the end. The game entered at number 30, eliminated Reigns near the end, and reached the final 2 with Dean Ambrose. Dean gave him a strong final challenge and came close to pulling off the upset, but Hunter threw him over the top rope too and won the match and the championship. Hunter held the title until WrestleMania 32, where Reigns finally beat him in Dallas. 6. The debut of the WWE ThunderDome on the August 21st, 2020 episode of SmackDown. In the wake of the COVID pandemic, the company had spent the 5 previous months producing shows from the Performance Center, first in front of empty seats, and later with wrestlers surrounding the ring. Weren't those bizarre days? Moving into the Amway Center here finally gave the company enough room to rebuild its TV presentation and make the shows feel closer to what fans were used to seeing. Still without an in-person crowd, WWE built out the full entrance stage, brought back pyro, and added some futuristic elements over the ring. The wall of virtual fans could be distracting, and nobody was going to mistake it for a real crowd, but it was a major improvement over those awkward empty arena broadcasts. WWE stayed in Orlando for nearly 4 months and produced SummerSlam, Payback, Clash of Champions, Hell in a Cell, and Survivor Series inside the building. The ThunderDome wasn't perfect, but its debut was the moment WWE found a workable presentation for the rest of the pandemic era. 5. The Miz cashes in his Money in the Bank contract on Randy Orton during the November 22, 2010 episode of Raw. Orton had defended the WWE Championship against Wade Barrett at Survivor Series in Miami the night before, but the Nexus forced him into another title match on Raw. They attacked Orton's knee before the match and assaulted him again after he managed to retain, leaving the Viper injured in the middle of the ring with The Miz holding the briefcase. The Miz immediately targeted Randy's injured knee, but Orton still nearly ended the cash-in with an RKO. Miz escaped, countered into the skull-crushing finale, and pinned Orton to win the WWE Championship for the first time. The broadcast then found one of the many upset fans in the crowd, and her reaction became the famous Miz Girl meme that would hang around for years to come. 4. Sasha Banks defeats Bayley inside Hell in a Cell and ends her 380-day reign as SmackDown Women's Champ. Their partnership had carried WWE television through much of the empty arena period, with Sasha and Bayley holding nearly every women's championship available between them. That all ended when Bayley attacked Sasha after they lost the women's tag team championships and failed to win them back, finally turning years of tension between the two into a full breakup program. Sasha and Bayley built the match around the damage they could create with the cell and everything available underneath the ring. Sasha repeatedly targeted Bayley's neck and back while Bayley tried to slow her down with chairs, kendo sticks, and a table. The finish brought the story back to Bayley's steel chair, with Sasha trapping it around her opponent's head and pulling back on a modified bank statement until Bayley submitted. 3. AJ Styles makes his WWE debut as the third entrant in the 2016 Royal Rumble match. Styles had already spent more than a decade building his reputation in TNA and New Japan, so WWE didn't introduce him as an unknown prospect who needed an explanation. He walked into one of the company's biggest matches, received an immediate reaction from the Orlando crowd, and went face-to-face with the champion Roman Reigns. Styles lasted nearly half an hour before Kevin Owens eliminated him, which gave fans enough time to see that WWE wasn't planning to completely change the wrestler they had followed elsewhere. He didn't come close to winning the title on his first night, but he was treated like a major arrival instead of another surprise entrant who disappeared after a few minutes. 2. Drew McIntyre faces Roman Reigns in a champion versus champion match at Survivor Series 2020. McIntyre regained the WWE Championship from Randy Orton just 6 days earlier, while Reigns had spent the fall establishing the colder and more controlling version of the tribal chief we know today. Roman treated Drew like the lesser champion, and McIntyre entered the match determined to prove that he belonged on that same level. They kept the pace measured and made major exchanges feel important. Drew survived the Superman punch and spear, Roman kicked out after the Claymore, and neither man was presented as clearly beneath the other. A ref bump finally gave Reigns the opening he needed. He caught Drew with a low blow, Jey Uso added a super kick, and Roman locked in the guillotine until McIntyre lost consciousness. 1. Roman Reigns returns at SummerSlam 2020 after The Fiend Bray Wyatt defeats Braun Strowman for the Universal Championship. Roman had been away since withdrawing from WrestleMania 36, but he didn't return as the company's top babyface hero WWE had spent years trying to push. He came back more aggressive, he attacked both men, and made it clear that he was done trying to win over an audience that had repeatedly rejected his old presentation. He speared The Fiend, attacked Strowman with a steel chair, and hit both men with another spear before ending the show with the championship in his hands. At Payback, 1 week after SummerSlam in the same building, Reigns entered the no-holds-barred triple threat after the match had already started and pinned Strowman to win the title. Number 1 was an easy choice because the Kia Center hosted the beginning of the Tribal Chief era. Roman's return, his partnership with Heyman, and the start of a championship reign that lasted more than 3 years all happened during WWE's first week inside the Amway Center ThunderDome. The thumbnail word for this episode is Reigns, and I don't think another word fits the Kia Center quite as well. My list today covered title reigns beginning and ending, and Roman Reigns returning to begin the most important run of his career. Even during the ThunderDome era, this building became a place where WWE started major chapters instead of simply passing through town. As always, let me know your favorite Kia Center wrestling moments down in the comments. Next time, I'm heading to Dayton, Ohio, just up the road from me, to cover Hara Arena. It's a much smaller building with a wrestling history that includes a banger of an ECW show in 1998. Thanks for the house.